used by recruiters to shortlist the candidate for the interview. The interviewers use it to ask questions during the interview. Hence, it is very important that we prepare our resume with utmost care. In this video, we are going to share 5 tips for writing an effective resume. Tip number 1, page resume. We have seen many resumes which run in a number of pages. Yes, it is true that you want to share as much details as possible in your resume. But then we have to think of the reader who would have limited time to go through your resume. When recruitment executives read a resume, they look for information like skills, number of years of experience, education qualification, etc. The same thing holds true for interviewer. In other words, reader of your resume is looking for specific information or keywords and is typically not interested in reading too much details. The golden rule is stick to one page. But if you feel that it is inadequate for the details that you wish to share, you may go for 2 pages, but don't go beyond 2 pages for sure. Tip number 2. Set the font size of 10 or more and use commonly used fonts. Now, why this is important? Because some people do follow the first rule of one page, but set the font size of 8 or cram everything in that one page. Please don't do it. You would not want your readers strain their eyes by reading your resume with small font size. Also use commonly used fonts such as Times New Roman, Varadana, Calibri, etc. If you use uncommon fonts, then you run the risk of making your resume unreadable for the reader who have not installed such common fonts. Tip number 3. Check for spelling and grammatical errors yourself. I think this yourself is very important. Readers would make judgments about you after reading your resume. While the actual content would matter the most, any occurrence of spelling or grammatical errors will surely make bad impression. Please use spell checker and grammar checker without fail. Moreover, read your resume carefully, specifically for finding spelling and grammatical errors. For example, you may use the word weak, spelled as W-E-A-K, but instead you typed if you want to use the word weak, W-E-E-K, but you type the word W-E-A-K. So your spell checker will not give error, right? So if instead of saying weak like this, you actually type weak, right? That is wrong, but the spell checker will not tell you that is wrong because it's a valid English word, right? So you have to catch that error, right? Also, it is a good idea to give your resume to someone who is proficient in the English language to check for spelling and grammatical errors. Tip number 4. Do not provide too much personal information. Why it is important? In today's world, it has actually become very important. Some resumes we have seen contain too much personal information, such as date of birth, PAN number, passport number, marital status, etc. Yes, some recruiters do ask these details, and you would need to provide them. But when you send out your resume to unknown people or upload it on job sites, please avoid sharing these details. Also, avoid giving away your residential address. One can misuse all these details together in a number of ways. While you must share your mobile number and email address so that recruiters can quickly contact you, you can give away other details only when asked. The last but not least tip is do not mention contact details of references. Some recruiters, some resumes contain names and contact details of references. Please avoid it. Actually, you should only mention that references will be available on request. That way you can protect identity and contact details of your references. Also, please talk to your references well in advance before you mention their names to recruiters. Recruiters typically do reference check after shortlisting or sometimes after giving offer. So you would have ample time to share these details with the recruiter. So with these 5 tips, you can make your resume more effective. All the best.